So hello everyone, my name is Elena and welcome to another video from the Yveltal squad. I am very happy because today we are going to be covering the latest winner, the latest deck profile that won the Late Night Series here in Europe. So Late Night Series 73 if I am not mistaken. It was a very intense top 8 cat with lots of great players. Lugia of course dominated, but Lugia didn't win the event. It was actually Control, username named Matthew, that piloted this deck to the finals and proved why Control is such a great strategy for the current metagame that we have. Now, before going into the deck profile and analyzing a little bit the choices that he decided to incorporate and how they perform, I just want to remind you that if you want to keep supporting us as a team and want to get like some cards to keep playing the game, you can do so at Atlas Collectionables and at PTCGO Store. You have all the discounts associated with us in the description down below, so we of course encourage you to go ahead and use them because you are not only going to be saving some money, but you also help us continue creating this content. And having said that, let me expand the deck list so that you see the one that we are featuring in today's video. Control is something, it's an archetype that has always been there, and I would say that it has been very effective in certain moments of the game. Now, what Control is targeting are these kind of decks that are always on top and that run out of resources quickly easy, more or less, so to say. So I think that there are two main weapons that you use in this deck. One of them is called Yveltal. This is the Yveltal that was printed in Celebrations, if I am not mistaken, and the reason why it is so good is because it has one attack, Cry of Destruction, that gets rid of 3 special energies that your opponent has, and you can target the number of Pokemons that you want, so they don't need to be attached to the same Pokemon. That's what I want to say. So if you think about how important special energy cards are right now, it is easy to understand why Yveltal is such a big problem. So Lugia runs only special energies, Mew only runs special energies, and they are some of the most powerful decks right now in the format. So the idea against Lugia and against Mew is to use Yveltal as your main attackers to run them out of energies. And if the Lugia player especially is not taking into consideration the number of energies or is not able to loop Luminium, then Yveltal is just going to seal the game. So basically Yveltal here is going to be the main attacker in most of the situations, but that does not mean that we don't have other weapons. Then for these type of situations in which we go against Lost Box or in which we go against Regigigas that are basically immune to Yveltal, this player Matthew had decided to run a 1-1 line of Flying Pikachu VMAX because they can go with Max Balloon and it blocks any damage that Flying Pikachu takes from basic Pokemon, which if you think about it, it's all that Lost Box and all that Regigigas run. And it's true that they can still somehow get over this lock if they have a combination of Escape Rope and Boss's Orders, but sometimes it's not that easy for them to access that, and by the time they get it, you will have already damaged the entire field. So another option in case that you don't want to play Flying Pikachu is SQ plus the Was Energy to wall Lost Box decks, but I think that Flying Pikachu is definitely a safe choice as well, and it has free retreat, which is often very welcome. The other Pokemons that we run here, Manaphy for obvious reasons, we cannot let Reiko destroy our entire field. We run Radiant Greninja because in certain matchups, like for instance the ones where we are not going to be using Flying Pikachu, then we can get safely rid of the excess of energies that we have. We also run one Miltank that is pretty effective in certain situations. For instance, against Lugia, it stops your opponent from looping Luminion endlessly because Miltank cannot be damaged by them. Starly, it's also a very nice addition because it gives you access to any 2 cards from your deck by just using Keen Eye. And then another very important one is Regieleki that helps you recycling trainer cards. Now, probably, in case that you are wondering, this deck is not only able to get to a situation where your opponent runs out of energies and runs out of resources. In order to checkmate effectively, you need Eldegoss, and 2 copies of Eldegoss plus Bird Keeper is going to allow us to enter in an infinite loop where Eldegoss attacks, deals 30 damage, goes back to the deck, but then the second Eldegoss comes, grabs Bird Keeper and you are constantly switching between Eldegos and your attacker, well, you don't even need 2 Eldegos to do the combo, but that's it. So you are continuously chipping away some damage from the active Pokemon and you win in the end. And Snorlax are here. The Snorlax for Cormandise, which is an amazing ability that draws a card at the beginning, and this Snorlax is pretty good against Lost Box, but also can threaten Lugia in a very effective way, because what tends to happen with Lugia is that once in the late turns of the game they loop you with Luminion and they possibly put something like Archeops, or you can directly boss an Archeops and kill it with Snorlax, and without access to 2 Archeops in play, Lugia is probably not going to win that one. And what else? The rest of the cards and the rest of the deck building, I think it's very well prepared to deal with all of that. So of course we are not running supporters that will force us to discard resources. We need to keep them, but Colress Experiment is probably better than Professor's Research here. Sydney, because it can really help your opponent getting out of energies sooner. Thoron, which is the way in which we are going to keep spamming our Yveltals and our attackers again and again by taking it back from the discard pile. Boss's Orders, Bird Keeper, and Galar Mine. I think that Galar Mine is the MVP, is definitely the MVP of this deck, because if you use Galar Mine plus Boss's Orders onto something that the opponent cannot retreat, you basically win the game. So I think that this is a really on-spot deck for the current metagame that we have. Now, if you're going to play your locals and your locals play things that don't rely that much on energies, or are, I don't know, Within or Eternatus or things like that, or even Darkrai that they have so many energy options, this might not be the deck for it. But as things stand, I have to tell you that this is the perfect meta goal against Lugia, against Lost Box, and probably against Mew. So having said that, congrats to Matthew for winning the late night series. We are going to play again, and in case that you want to play the late night series, you can sign up in the Limitless webpage for free and get the possibility to win a trip to Japan, all costs paid. So I hope that you enjoy the matchup that we are going to test right now. And yep, let's see the game, let's see the deck in action. So let's play some games with Control. I hope that we can hit some meta decks, because that way you're going to see how appropriate this deck is for the current state of the standard format. So our opponent gets to go first, and we start with, okay, so nothing, we're probably going to be retreating because we want to open with a Snorlax and get some cards. So I think that Greninja is here the one that we want to start off with, and we go against Mew. Okay, so Mew should be technically a good matchup in the sense that it only has 4 energies, and Yveltal can easily discard them. So let's see what happens. They have given us a mulligan, which is fine. We have a lot of energy cards in our hand, which are not going to be very useful at this stage of the game, but whatever. Okay, so Genesect starts in the active position. There are different ways, different routes in which we can play the mirror matchup, the Mew matchup, sorry. So either if they decide to attack, we can leave them without energies with the help of Yveltal, or if they try to do Psychic Leap and continuously loop ourselves, then we can try to use Boss's Orders. So the hand is actually not bad. I wonder what I want to do at this stage. I think that I'm going to go for Colress Experiment in order to try to set up a board. At this stage, so Big Parasol is for sure not going to be grabbed, and I would imagine that what we need is to set up as many Yveltals as possible here. That seems to be like the way to go. So we are going to go ahead and bench these 2 Yveltals. And what else do I want to do here at this stage? Maybe the problem that I see here is that even if I set up something additional, like, Well, Manaphy is not needed. Snorlax, I don't know if it's needed. Maybe we want to go for a Snorlax just in case. Yeah, I think that we can safely here go for the Snorlax just in case that something, you know, happens with our Greninja or that we get Marnit, which is an issue. And I think that I just want to end the turn because it does not really, I don't really want to discard any energies with Greninja, and I think that my hand is pretty good. Now the only problem is I see then Marnin as, but I think I'm going to take the risk. I think that's fine. I think it's fine. So there are different options that my opponent can here go for. So they can KO Greninja, or they can Boss's Orders and KO our Yveltal. Okay, that's fine. So if they judge us, we are preserving the energies, and even if they get the KO, then we can chill a little bit and use a Snorlax to keep drawing cards. So that's probably what we are going to be doing at this stage. And we need to be very aware of the amount of switching cards that my opponent has gone through. And basically go from there. Good thing is that the Snorlax cannot be negated by something like Path to the Peak, so we should be pretty safe at this stage. I guess that if they have already attached one energy, we are safe to attack with Yveltal and save a Snorlax for later. I guess that could be something that we do at this stage. So Lost City can be a bit problematic because it's going to leave us without a lot of Yveltals to play, but luckily for us, we still have 4 in the deck, so we should have more Yveltals than they do. And if we don't want to use Yveltal, we can just chill a little bit. Ooh, that's an issue. So what do I want to sacrifice here? Do I want to sacrifice already a Yveltal? That can be an issue. Yeah, I think I'm just going to sacrifice an Yveltal here because a Snorlax is really valuable in the sense that it will give us the resources that we need. So yeah, Yveltal, I am not happy of seeing my Yveltal getting sent to the Lost Zone, but on the other hand, I feel that the Snorlax was going to be better in the long run. So let's see what we want to do here. What would be ideal is a way to remove that Lost City. That would be absolutely ideal because we cannot get Lost City, we don't want to get Lost City sticking around for long. So I think that I'm just going to promote Snorlax here. My god, like how many energies do I have? I'm going to discard 1 energy in hopes to get something, which doesn't happen, but it's fine. I imagine that this is fine. I want to get, what do I want to get here? Another Snorlax, maybe another Yveltal, and I need to maximize my chances of getting Galarian Mine, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So I think that at this stage, all that we are left here to do is we will play down the entire, I think that we're going to play down the entire hand, and we will play Sydney since it's the only card that we have here. Okay, so whatever. So Sydney didn't work, so we are going to Cormandize and draw some cards. Still no ways to remove the Lost City, which is definitely going to be an issue moving forward in this matchup. This is definitely going to be an issue. We really need a way to get rid of Lost City. We really need a way to get rid of Lost City, and to start using our what are they called? Our stadium cards. So let's see what happens. So Escape Rope, I am gladly going to give them the Greninja, but probably what's going to happen is that we will see a Boss's Orders here. So no Boss's Orders. Well, still we are not out of problems because they still can play double copy of Cross Switchers. This helps up to a point. This helps. And maybe, depending on what my opponent does here, since I have Bruno, I might go ahead and attack with Yveltal and try to remove the Lost City from play. Maybe that's something that I will try to do. So let's see if my opponent has double copy of Cross Switcher. Good news is that I don't think that we are going to be seeing any judges anymore. So yes, Mew is going to attack, and then we will get to promote the Yveltal here to get rid of one of the energy cards. Okay, so as I was saying, the key here is to leave them without energies. So I think that we're going to go with Yveltal here. I want to maximize the drawing power of this Bruno. So hopefully, okay, that's amazing. We were able to draw the Galarian Mine. We are going to play this just to see what it's in there. So not much. One Galarian Mine is there, which, I mean, not the best thing in the world, but not the worst again. So Cry of Destruction, and we are going to discard one energy from that Mew. Now, what I'm a bit worried about is a second copy of Lost City. That can be problematic, but maybe we can still, I don't know, Boss's Orders around, and also we have Peoria in hand that could potentially, we have a 50% chance of hitting a Lost City here. Okay, big Parasol, that's fine. So big Parasol here, and what is my opponent going to do? So Genesect, that's okay. So that means that probably we are going to see just an attachment and an attack, which is okay. So Power Tablet has been used. It's fine. So we need to go around the big Parasol, but still, like, we have options to go around big Parasol. So that's kind of okay-ish. We can make it. Depends on the amount of switching cards that my opponent has left in the deck. That really will make the difference. So Boss's Orders onto a Snorlax, actually. Okay, that's interesting. Boss's Orders onto a Snorlax. So with big Parasol, the problem is that we are not going to be able to use Cry of Destruction. So we will need to use Boss's Orders onto a Genesect and hope that they don't have a switching card. I think that's the play here. Okay, fine enough. So we are actually going to do that. We are going to use Boss's Orders here. We are going to use Snorlax. Then Snorlax will be played here again. I don't know if I want to use Speed Energy, probably not. So I'm just going to go ahead and Cry of Destruction. So 2 energy cards are already discarded. Now, it's true that my opponent still has some recycling power with the help of Silene. And here it goes, bye-bye Galarian Mine. It rhymes. So bye-bye Galarian Mine, but they only have like 2 more attacks. So let's see what happens here. They only have 2 attacks, and Yveltals are going directly to the discard pile, which is good for us because Thornton is definitely going to make a difference. Okay, so once Silene has hit heads, that means that they still... Okay, so Escape Rope, interesting. So they opted not to recycle their energy and go... Okay, so that, I must say that I am not really exactly understanding what has happened. So anyways, let's play Peoria here, and everything here is actually pretty good. So I'm going to get rid of the Pikachu. I'm probably going to get rid of the energy and the Quick Ball since I do have Eldegoss. So I think that's fine. At this stage, we can safely, I would imagine that we can safely use Galarian Mine and Cry of Destruction again. So I don't know what is my opponent now going to be doing. True that they still have 1 Escape Rope, which is fine. If they want, they can play it. But this is basically the last energy that they have left. So if they want to get something, take the Snorlax, and more than okay with them getting a Snorlax. Okay. And basically all that we need to do is to hit what is it? What's the name of the card? Sorry. We need to hit an Eldegoss so that we can Boss's Orders and Cry of Destruction, and we basically win the game if we do that. So okay, Cross Fusion Strike, that's fine. I And it does not even KO ourselves. Why? What is he copying actually? I am not sure. Okay, so Eldegoss, and we even have, oh my god, this is amazing. So we have Galarian Mine, we are going to play the Eldegoss to get Boss's Orders, and then Boss's Order is going to target the other Genesect, then we are going to take Snorlax back into our hand and Cry of Destruction to get rid of the, what I would imagine is the last energy in my opponent deck. And now, what's my opponent going to do? That's it. So that's how you play against Mew. I think that maybe I could have played slightly different, but overall that's basically what you have to do. The biggest problem is them sticking a Lost City and you not getting rid of it early enough so that you cannot recycle your Yveltals. But all in all, I think that it's almost, I wouldn't say that it's like an easy matchup or a free matchup at all, but it's definitely easier than Lugia and maybe even Lost Box, because they only have a limited amount of resources and it's very easy to leave them without energies. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you had a good time and that you understand now how Control works. As I was saying at the beginning and at the deck profile, it is definitely a good choice, but only if you expect to face meta decks. Then if you're in an environment where lots of players are going to be running things like Arceus, then maybe it is not the deck for you. But that being said, consider leaving a like if you like the content, and let me know in the comments what you think about this deck. So thank you so much, and thanks for supporting the Shuffle Squad. So bye bye and have a nice day.
The Shuffle Squad is proudly sponsored by Atlas Collectibles, the best place to buy any trading card game product online. Visit atlastcg.com and at the checkout screen make sure to use code TSS12 to save an unbeatable 12% off your entire order. Atlas Collectibles will ship your product anywhere in the world, so make sure you're taking advantage of the 12% savings with TSS12. And if Pokemon is not your thing, don't worry. Go to atlastcg.com and see all the other amazing trading card game products they have there to offer.
The Shuffle Squad is partnered with PTC Geo Store to provide our community with the best access to Pokemon TCG codes. They have codes available 24/7, instant email delivery, and you can save 5% off by using code TSS5. If you're a YouTube member or Patreon supporter, you'll have access to a special code that gets you 10% off. So what are you waiting for? Use code TSS5 today and save 5% on your next order of codes on any codes available at ptcgeostore.com.
Are you trying to be the best like no one ever was? Now is your time. Head on over to Metafy.gg and search out all our amazing Pokemon TCG coaches, where you can book all sorts of training plans ranging from deck help to full season sessions with your favorite coach. What a great way to up your game. Check out Metafy.gg in the description below and take your game to the next level. Challenge yourself against trainers from around the world to compete for the biggest online prizing yet.
Are you ready for an unbelievable tournament unlike anything else you've ever seen before? The Shuffle Squad is proud to announce our newest tournament series, the Late Night Event, with an amazing grand prize that's bound to have you excited.
Players can compete via play.limitless.tcg.com's online tournament platform every Tuesday to get a chance to earn weekly prizes. And every week, your placement in the tournament is tallied by points based on your best finishes to earn your rank for the Late Night Invitational event.
The series will be conducted starting February 7th of 2023 and carry all the way through to the Invitational on July 9th of 2023, where the top players will be rewarded the grand prizing.
And the grand prize is a signed jersey and photo op with the entire Shuffle Squad, as well as a fully paid trip to the Pokemon World Championships in Yokohama, Japan. This includes hotel and airfare, whether you're a player or a spectator.
Don't forget to check out all the live coverage on our YouTube and Twitch channel of the top cuts of these events for every week. And subscribe so you can get notified where to watch the Late Night Events Invitational, brought to you by the Shuffle Squad. Now get out there and start winning. We'll see you in Japan.